Hello and welcome to Global Matters. My name is Tunde Alabi. Thank you for your time with us in 2022. And great to know that you're still there with us this year, 2023. There were very important national issues of relevance in 2022. It was in February 2022 that Russia invaded Ukraine. The attack on Ukraine attracted global condemnation as its effect reverberated around the world. For us in Nigeria, Ukraine offered affordable medical programs, including other science programs that attracted several Nigerian students to that part of the world. Haiti was in Spain, Hungary, and Ukraine at the heat of the war to cover the evacuation of Nigerians and other African nationals in that part of the world. Also, in 2022, Rwanda hosted the Commonwealth in Kigali. Haiti was there to give you all the resolutions of the now 56 Commonwealth nations. The U.S. also had this midterm election, which saw the Democrats lose the control of the U.S. Congress, but held on to the Senate. Haiti brought you all the electoral maneuvers in that midterm election live from different U.S. cities. We will give you the highlights of some of these international events that shaped 2022. But first, we'll be taking a look at the gridlock in the U.S. House of Representatives over the election of a new speaker. The House for 4 days has been trying unsuccessfully to elect a new speaker, with the frontrunner Republican Kevin McCarthy repeatedly failing to convince hardline Republicans. And after that discussion on the situation in the U.S., we will now go to the review of the events in the year 2022. We have our guests joining us live from Washington, D.C. at the heart of this election for a new speaker in the House of Representatives, Ignatius Hanno. Ignatius is the Voice of America correspondent covering the development and the situation, the LOGJAM, the maneuvering right there at the U.S. House of Representatives. Is joining us live now from D.C. to give us another. Ignatius, thank you for taking the time to join us on the program today. Can you talk us through what is happening in the Congress today?
Tunde, thank you so very much. And first of all, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
We spoke was in 2022.
Absolutely.
So
good to see you again, Ignatius. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. So, as you rightly said, it's the first in a history of the United States, 162 years, I should say,
wow,
since we've had Congress not being able to elect a Speaker of the House of Representatives on the first round. In 1923, when that happened, the ballots went to the 9th round, but this is another record. It's been to the 11th round as of yesterday, and there's still no Speaker of the U.S. Congress as I speak to you. In the next couple of minutes, actually a little over an hour, at noon Washington D.C. time, Congress would be convening again to try to see if what they're hoping to do, i.e. elect a speaker for the representative, would happen. When Congress convened on Tuesday, they had one business: ensure that a speaker is elected so that the business of the day can go on. On Tuesday, 3 votes happened. Kevin McCarthy, who is representative for California, failed to clinch the 218 votes that is needed for him to win. And so it happened again on Wednesday. On 3 more votes, he couldn't do so. And then Thursday, again for the 11th round, as I speak to you, the House is deadlocked because there is no leader. Roughly 21 Republicans are saying that they will not vote for Kevin McCarthy. And there are 3 reasons why they are standing on their position. One, they're saying they want less spending for the government. 2, they want more powers for themselves and less powers for the speaker. And 3, mistrust and personality differences. I want you to know that in the lead up to Congress convening, which is the 118th session, Kevin McCarthy, who has been leader of the Republican for a while in Congress, made proposals, including saying that if 5 Republicans call for snap election for him to step down as Speaker if elected, then he will do so. But these hardline Republicans, as you call them, are saying they want the 5 to be narrowed down to 1. It's one of the thorny issues why we are where we are today. And they are also saying that since Kevin McCarthy's leadership, he's not given them the platform for their voices to be heard on the floor. He's not been able to demonstrate leadership over the years. And there's no way they're going to be able to trust someone who is going to be the second in line to the White House after Vice President Kamala Harris. You should know that the Speaker position is the only congressional leadership that is enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. And so what's happening is a big deal.
Indeed, a big deal. But, Ignatius, one would have thought that ordinarily Kevin McCarthy would be elected the Speaker, having been the leader of the party in the Congress. But with these rebels, let me call them rebels, voting against his speakership. And again, Donald Trump has also given him his support. Is this a fight against Donald Trump or a fight by some individuals in the Republican trying to spread themselves? What is actually behind this revolution?
Well, so I stated the 3 reasons why the roughly 21 Republicans are saying they will not support the candidacy of Kevin McCarthy. On Wednesday morning, former President Donald Trump issued a statement. Essentially what he said, and I'm quoting him, he said that the Republicans should unite behind him because Kevin McCarthy will do a good job, maybe a great job. That's on Wednesday morning. Well, Friday, almost past 11 a.m. now, and it doesn't look like, the message that Trump has sent out to the Republicans, have done any good to McCarthy's bid to become the Speaker of the House. And so it's not a conversation. It's a conversation about these, individuals saying we want to take charge of the party. We want to be able to ensure that our voices are heard on the floor and also ensure that there's less spending for the government. And so these are, the kind of positions that they hold as they continue to actually ensure that Kevin McCarthy doesn't become the Speaker. 2 days ago, there were just about roughly 20 Republicans. And as the hours have gone by, that number has increased to roughly 21 as I speak to you. On Wednesday, 20 of those Republicans also nominated Byron Donalds, who is the representative for Florida. And he's the very first black man that the Republicans have nominated for the position of Speaker. Initially, on 2 occasions, he actually supported the candidacy of McCarthy, but has, kind of taken a backseat for now because, as he said, it doesn't look like McCarthy will be able to get the nod. And so that's where we are at this point. The vote will continue to go on until, a leader gets the 218 vote that is required. The Speaker position is very key. You should know that Congress has an oversight responsibility. There are members who were elected during the midterm elections. They have not been sworn in because essentially there's no leadership in the House. Government spending, the kind of resources that agencies will need have to come from Congress, both, the upper house and the lower house. And there's no leadership. Such a thing cannot happen. And that's why what's happening at this time is a big deal, really, today.
Indeed, a big deal. Where do the Democrats stand in this LOGJAM? Where do they stand, the Democrats? That's number one. And how deep will this impact on the U.S. economy, on defense, security, generally on government and governance in the United States?
Well, for the Democrats, they have done what they had to do. All 212 of them have rallied consistently since Congress convened on Tuesday behind Hakeem Jeffries, he's a representative for New York, a Democrat himself. All of them have supported him, and so they are okay. They've also have said that they actually have been pleased about what's happening, because again, it kind of exposes the deep division that analysts are seeing that is within the Republican Party at this time. Now, you will recall the November midterm elections where Republicans and even political watchers were hoping for what they called a red wave. And that's because historically, in the body politics of the United States, when midterm elections are held, which is in the second year of any administration, you have the party that is in power not faring well, and the opposition actually making inroads. That didn't happen in the 2021 midterm elections, and so it's kind of exposing the deep divisions, like I told you early on, within the party as I speak to you. And all eyes, I would say, is on Congress at this time. In almost about an hour now, the voting again will go on in the House to see where things stand. Yesterday, McCarthy spoke at length for the first time to reporters, where he talked about the fact that progress is being made. Essentially, one of the key concessions, that the roughly 21 Republicans are looking out for is just for one Republican to be able to call for a snap election that will ensure that McCarthy stepped down as Speaker. That's if he wins. We're not too sure how far that has gone to, but what we do know at this time is what McCarthy has said, that progress is being made. We'll just have to wait and see what happens within the next couple of minutes from the Hill.
Now, the other part of my question had to do with the impact of this logjam on the U.S. economy, on defense, and on government and governance generally, considering the constitutional relevance and value of the Speaker in the Congress and to the government.
Okay, so as I speak to you now, the people's business is not ongoing because there is no speaker who, like I told you, is the only congressional leadership that is enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. Without him, you can swear in, the other representatives who have been elected. There cannot be votes that would ensure that spending, or funding is made available to resource or give finances to the government agencies that work in this country. So as I speak to you, all those things have come to a halt. It's the reason why on Wednesday, when President Joe Biden was heading to Kentucky, he did say that what's happening is an embarrassment. As has Nancy Pelosi, who says that he obviously isn't running again. And so the business of governance is not ongoing as I speak to you. And that's why, this is a big deal for locals within the country.
Indeed, a big deal for the locals in the country. But how long can this go on for? I mean, when this happened some 162 years ago, there was some resolutions at some point. But how long can these go on for? Will Kevin McCarthy step down at some point for a more popular candidate within the Republicans to emerge, or he will keep fighting his way through until he gets it?
Well, that's absolutely correct. It can go on for as long as there's, the 218 vote has not been gotten. And we're not able to say that. And like I said to other networks, what lies ahead is really uncertain. McCarthy has said that he's not backing down. He's come as far as today to ensure that he makes his way through. And he says it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. You should also know that his political future is on the line. So he's kind of ensuring that he puts out all the cards that are possible, to get the 21 Republicans hardliners on board. And so this will go for as long as, it can go. If the 218 votes, doesn't come up, there are two people who are also coming up to kind of be alternatives, like Steve Scalise, who was going to be the second in command for the Speaker should McCarthy win. And then another committee had Mark Henry. But these two have also said that they are not interested in the job. So as of now, what I can tell you is that what lies ahead is uncertain. We're keeping a close eye on what's going to happen on the Capitol Hill as the voting goes on the 12th round in at about 30 minutes from now.
Indeed, what lies ahead is uncertain, and we don't know where and what is going to happen. We'll keep watching and we'll keep following development in the Congress. Thanks a lot, Ignatius Arnold, for your time with us on Africa Independent Television, AIT, live from DC to Abuja studio. Thank you for your time here on the program, Ignatius, and Happy New Year again.
Thank you very much, Tunde. Happy New Year to you. Always a pleasure talking to you. Have a good one.
I'm going to come around one of these days to get my Christmas turkey from you.
Okay, I hear you.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot, man.
You know.
Bye. All right, then. That was Ignatius Arnold, VOA correspondent, giving us update and situation review of what is happening, the LOGJAM, the breakdown of congressional functions as a result of the inability of the Republicans to file behind Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. Let's move to other issues now. Earlier on in the introduction on the program, I spoke to you about key events in 2022. Let's quickly take a look at some of these events, and probably if time permits, we'll come back. Otherwise, I'll see you again on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Is there kind of a thin line between the fight against terrorism and ensuring that there is no infringement on the rights of the people or the rights of the suspects?
Thank you. The issue is people have a right to voice their opinions, which is, you know, part of freedom of speech. And even within the Nigerian constitution, there is provisions for people to express themselves, even to have a level of civil representation if you have a particular cause. But when it comes down to breaching the law, when it comes down to taking people's lives, these are criminal acts. To sit down, and as we've seen throughout the Northwest, where you've got lawless individuals taking masses of people, leaving people with such levels of insecurity, those are criminal activities. That's not any regional mass group of people trying to demonstrate or hold a cause. That's pure criminal conduct. And there needs to be sanctions.
The resurgence of coup in Africa. The story has always been the same: corruption, poor management of the country, poverty. Why? We thought we've got over these. Why is coup coming back again? We thought we have overcome
Let us begin with the coup in Ukraine on the basis of the advice given by Joe Biden.
Yeah.
A coup, as distinct from a coup d'etat, is always manifested in different forms. Now, Ukraine, even though it used to be part and parcel of Russia, now Ukraine is trying to assert its own sovereignty on the basis of the principle of self-determination, to determine whether or not to belong to the NATO school of thought or to belong to the Russian school. So in this case, now that the Americans are warning their own citizens, warning them that, look, they will not be in a position to protect their citizens when the D-Day or the D-time, that is time of possible attack on either side will be, they will not be able to protect them. And you ask a very good question, what is it that the Nigerian government, the people of Nigeria are doing in terms of the security and protection of their own citizens? The answer is simple. Nigeria has a foreign policy that is not programmatic. Our foreign policy at best is very reactive. We only react, but we never have an agenda. We never try to foresee situational crises like this that we have provided for precaution. So in this case, our compatriots in Ukraine, we need to pray for them. They either try to listen to the advice given by the Americans themselves, to consider the advice as being given by the people and government of Nigeria. That's what I will say at that level, because what is happening, what is coup d'etat? Coup d'etat is forceful change of government. And when you are threatening to prepare for war, what will happen? You want to bring the government to its knees. And by the time the government is brought to its knees, what happens next? You play the tune and you dictate it. Now, as to the dynamics of the recurrence of coup in West Africa, in particular, and in Africa in general, the reasons are not far-fetched, but they can be summed up not by what Kagame just simply said, that it is failure of governance. No, we need to qualify that governance. It is failure of good governance. But when we now try to break the poor governance, bad governance in Africa into simple terms, you will discover that they are more interesting and the reasons vary from one country to the other. First observation, we can ask the question, why is it that all these coups are now Frenchified? Why are they holding in Francophone countries? Secondly, why are the reasons common? Why is it the same? Thirdly, why is it that the people in those countries are actively supporting such coups, while the regional body, the ECOWAS, is preaching the sermon, you know, of non-constitutional change of government?
If you end any conflict with war, you are only postponing the solution. The effective, durable solution to any conflict is reached through dialogue and through conversation. War is the instrument used by cowards, people that are not able to face each other with courage and negotiate. So it is really very unfortunate that we have had a resort to war in resolving this conflict.
The United Kingdom is always willing to give asylum to those who have fled because of religious persecution, who have fled because their lives are in danger. I think the United Kingdom has always been a home for Nigerian people. I think the British government have no intention, in my opinion, of stopping that. So those who claim asylum, I would hope that our immigration staff will be sympathetic to their circumstances, and that they will in turn help them to gain the asylum that they want. If they don't want to return to Nigeria, that's their choice, but we should be trying to help them.
The Commonwealth People's Forum condemned the system of government where there is injustice and equitable distribution of wealth and resources among the Commonwealth countries, especially for the people, leading to poverty, social injustice, and the rest of other social vices within the Commonwealth communities and indeed among the people. This forum is determined to push forward policy and decisions, including actions that will change the trajectory.
The country-led high burden to high impact approach launched in 2018 by WHO and the rollback RBM partnership was adopted by Nigeria and should reignite the pace. It is in furtherance of this that the establishment of a high-level multi-sectoral End Malaria Council has been approved to ensure domestic and public-private resource mobilization and keep malaria high on our political agenda.
On malaria and NTDs, because of COVID, there are disruptions. And because of the disruptions, what we have gained the last few years, we're losing them now. So, as a result, we're off track from SDGs. I think even before COVID, it was the same, but now even more off track. So we need more commitment, more political commitment, more energy going forward.